Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a video which I haven't done in quite a while. I haven't actually looked at kind of an advice style video in a fairly long time. The last one probably dated back to before I made No Man's Sky videos, but recently with the addition of the 1.3 update to No Man's Sky, a lot of new players have began to buy the game and play the game. Now whether they be returning players who bought it at launch, got it refunded and then bought it back, or people that have just simply never picked it up, these tips will hopefully make No Man's Sky a bit more enjoyable and easier to get into. These are just a few essential things that new No Man's Sky players should know, and be warned, some of these can be considered very basic knowledge and some of them are a little lesser so, but at the end of the day we are talking about people that have never played the game before, so you have to kind of cut them some slack. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get started. So first of all, we have a very basic bit of knowledge, yet this is something which I know happens a lot with new players, and that is the fact that you cannot fly to another system by simply pointing in a general direction and flying to a distant star. I know for a fact that I personally believe that to find a new set of planets in No Man's Sky, you could simply pick out a distant star, fly to it, and eventually a whole solar system would pop in. I remember when I first bought the game and when I first got my ship working, I picked out this one distant star thinking I can just fly to that, I'm gonna do it, there's nothing that's gonna stop me. I probably spent a good 10 minutes just flying and flying, actually believing I was getting closer, but of course I never did, and I soon realised that this is unfortunately not the case. And although this was how it was at one point advertised pre-release, the idea of an open universe, something like Space Engine where you can pick out a point of light in the distance and fly to it, this is simply not the case in the final version of the game. It is not an open universe game, unlike something, like I said, similar to Space Engine. It isn't anything like that. In a lot of people's eyes, not being able to fly to another system manually is disappointing, but in reality this is actually an important piece to how No Man's Sky functions. Yes, it is technically something which was promised that isn't in the final game, but really when you look at the core gameplay of No Man's Sky, it plays a very big part in it, and removing that would basically change the game up a little too much for some people's liking. As you follow the tutorial when first starting No Man's Sky, you learn how to create something called warp cells, which power something called a hyperdrive, which is a part to your ship. Now once the hyperdrive is charged, you can pick out a system in the galactic map. This is the kind of open universe thing which Space Engine's built upon, and of course fly to it, although this is technically just a glorified loading screen, but that's basically how it works. Without this system of crafting warp cells and getting the resources required to create them, there wouldn't really be any challenge to the game. Mining the right resources to fuel your hyperdrive is a driving force of playing the game, and without it, the whole experience would ultimately lack a goal or something to constantly do. Granted, it isn't very exciting, and I know that. I'm not trying to pretend that it is a fantastic, perfect addition to the game, but it is way the game is made and is now, to some people's disappointment, a key part of playing No Man's Sky. Try all you want, but flying into a distant star will get you nowhere. It is just a skybox. Next thing which I want to talk about is your starting planet, and more specifically how your starting planet can be a horrible one. Beginning a new game in No Man's Sky is never easy, regardless if you're on normal difficulty or permadeath difficulty. The grind at the beginning is the worst it will ever be, and if you're on a particularly nasty planet, it could be a drawn out and potentially a painful process. Starting planets are random. They could be this lovely warm paradise with beautiful blue skies and lovely green grass, or an absolute shithole of a wasteland. The game doesn't purposely give you a nice planet for you to just sort of ease into the experience, and for that reason your No Man's Sky first experience can be fucking horrible or fucking wonderful. It is just 100% luck. Now what is important to note here is that patience is key when starting No Man's Sky for the first time. It will be exciting for sure, 100%, but it can be difficult and maybe even frustrating if your planet isn't rich with the required resources for repairing your ship. Not every planet is perfect, and some are very, very difficult with particular resources, and for those vital to survival like Thamium 9 or Zinc, it can, to be honest, be a pretty shitty experience. I remember my starting planet had basically no zinc, and I was trying to go around trying to find zinc plants to repair my ship, and I just couldn't find any. It probably took me a solid 15 minutes just to find one fucking plant, but in the end I did. So even though it may seem like there aren't any resources on that planet which you actually need, there always will be. That is the way the game is designed. So don't give up and think that your planet just doesn't have Thamium 9, because it always will. But what is key to remember, and this is the most important piece of advice I will ever give anyone, is that this is the hardest the game will ever be. Once you get off that starting planet, whether it be a place which you absolutely adore to bits and would like to build a base there, make it your home, or this absolute shithole of a planet, the game opens up and you will never ever have to repair your ship again. No matter how boring or hard the starting planet is, don't quit the game just because of it. It's like judging a game based on a demo. It is just a minor portion of the game. That's just one planet out of 18 quintillions. So the full experience is yet to come. Next, I want to talk about probably one of the most useful bits of advice anyone will ever give you, and that is the use of a small little movement exploit that allows you to traverse planets a lot quicker. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not actually sure if this is an exploit. I don't think it is because it's never been patched, but regardless, it's still so useful to know. Now, this is a method that allows the player to be propelled forward with some momentum given from melee bashing. It is quite difficult to get the hang of, so don't expect it to work for sure straight away, but I'll do my best to describe it in an easy to understand way. While sprinting on foot, press the melee button, which is Q on PC, and hold down space in order to kind of hover with a quicker pace. This is, of course, limited to how much of your jetpack fuel is left, so this isn't an unlimited kind of thing. But whilst it is active, you can cover some great distances and is faster than simply sprinting. This becomes less useful though as you begin to unlock vehicles, and as a result you don't spend that much longer on foot, but regardless, it is still one of the best pieces of information to know for the game, and just about any No Man's Sky player knows of this small trick. Also, if you want to make things really easy, and I mean really fucking easy, installing an unlimited jetpack mod allows you to do this forever, so you can gracefully glide across planets without any trouble. But of course, not everyone wants an easy experience, so this isn't something which you have to do, but it's just useful information if you're wanting to experiment with weird shit like flying out of the planet's atmosphere into space or something stupid like that. And the last piece of advice which I can give new players to No Man's Sky is that scanning animals and plants is actually a lot more useful than you may think. Now, a huge portion of playing No Man's Sky revolves around the concept of exploration and discovering. To land on an alien planet for the first time and laying eyes upon creatures, plants and locations which have just never ever been seen before is one of the game's greatest strengths. When you initially begin playing the game, scanning animals and naming them after dead relatives or memes that will become irrelevant by the time people eventually find them is something which seems so mind-blowing and revolutionary. I know for a fact that it was such a unique experience for me when I first picked up the game, and at the time my mind was racing with all these crazy references I could make for others to find if they were to ever come across this planet. The issue with this, however, and again I'm going to be brutally honest with you, is that this process of scanning and renaming does eventually lose its novelty, resulting in the process becoming less and less a part of your experience until eventually you just give up on it entirely. What's important to remember though is that scanning animals and planets is actually a really easy and straightforward way of earning quick money. Each scan grants you a small amount of units, but renaming and uploading the discovery for for other players to find increases that reward dramatically, meaning you're basically getting free units for not really doing that much, especially with new features in 1.3 that allow you to upgrade your scanner. You can eventually unlock upgrades that drastically improve the amount of units you get per discovery, sometimes reaching into 6-digit figures. It's honestly mental. Just go for it. It's free and simple, and is a really efficient method of getting a quick bit of cash when you might need a small boost in wealth. So that is the end of the video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. Please do feel free to drop your own bits of advice or tips in the comment section down below for new players to see. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Please do let me know if you feel like I missed anything, or anything which I said maybe might not be the most correct of statements or anything like that, and of course I will reply to you and do what I have to do. But regardless, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, then please do feel free to drop a nice big fat like on the video. If you guys could also be nice enough to subscribe to MZK, then that would be even better. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.
Each one of them